Hi, Book Monster Mitch behind this book. Let me try to move it over so you can see me and the book framed together. This is the best I can do. I'm not going to hold the book up for the entire video, but excuse me. I don't know if you can read the title because it's not in frame very well and it's got gold lettering. But the title of this book is Don Quixote, a classic. This morning before coming into the living room, I pulled this off my shelf. I'm going to set the book down now. So, like I was saying before I came into the living room this morning, I pulled the book off my bookshelf in the other room there, where I used to record my videos on a computer. Don't know when I'll get to it, but I've been having Don Quixote on my shelf for at least a year, possibly more. And the reason I pulled that off the shelf is, one, I want to read more classic literature, and I have a handful of classics on my shelf. This being one of them, Moby Dick and Three Musketeers special edition that I showed off on the channel a while back. I call it special edition because it's a hardcover with just sprayed edges and a few silhouettes of, I guess, characters on the edges of the pages. Anyway, so like I was saying, I would like to read more classic literature. So more or less on a whim, I pulled Quixote off the shelf. I'm not going to try to pronounce the author's name. If anybody knows, please. If anybody knows how to pronounce it, please let us know. Let me know down in the comments. But anyway, I was debating for weeks, if not a month at least, between The Stand and It. Stephen King books, the two Stephen King books, It and The Stand, because that's two of his books that I've been wanting to read throughout my lifetime. Got a little ways into each of them over the years. Just never saw it through yet with either one. So I just couldn't decide. I asked on Facebook. I'm part of a Stephen King fan club, more or less, on Facebook. Which of the two should I try to read? And more often than not, people were saying The Stand. Some were even saying, can't decide. Sorry, just still got a cough from that sinus infection I mentioned, a little while back, that I couldn't record videos for 2 to 3 weeks with. Anyway, somebody even mentioned that, look, you've been trying to read each one several times over the years and never made it through yet. So just move on to another one of his books specifically. Well, I agree with that. However, like I told that person on comments of Facebook, that I don't really have very many Stephen King books. I have It, The Stand, The Green Mile, and Dummy, however you pronounce that. Duma, Key, whatever. And I read The Green Mile. I tried reading Dummy Key when it was brand new. I have a hardcover copy of Dummy Key, because I got it from the bookstore when it was released in, I'm not even sure of the year, maybe 2008, something like that. Possibly earlier or later than that. Anyway, I read The Green Mile after seeing the movie because, for one, I didn't even know it was a book. For two, I didn't even think The Green Mile had anything to do with Stephen King, although with the powers of John Coffey, I'm not surprised. Anyway, this video is not about Stephen King, although it kind of turned into a Stephen King rant a little bit. So yeah, instead of reading a Stephen King classic, I'll go with a literary classic. And I decided on Don Quixote. So, like I said at the beginning of the video, don't know when, because right now I'm swapping back and forth between Empire of Silence, Sun Eater Book 1, and Book 1 of Strange Eons, Discovery. As it stands right now, in each of those books, I am 143 pages, I believe, into Discovery, and 270 pages into Empire of Silence. Ironically, both books, I believe, I'm roughly around 35% into each. Go figure. Anyway, it's just the way it turned out with each book. So, needless to say, I'll focus my attention on either of those books for now. But if I get the itch to go back to some classic literature, I have this on my stand on my table in reach. I don't know the page count, but Don Quixote is not a slim book by any means. If I had to venture a guess, it's a good 700 to 800 pages at least. So yeah, that's all for this video. Have you read Don Quixote or any classic literature books? I believe I've mentioned on the channel I've more or less read Moby Dick when I was a teenager or preteen. Just an annotated version, condensed version of it. I had the great illustrated classic books, hardcover books growing up, and among the books that I had, Moby Dick was one of them. Frankenstein was another one, because I remember doing a book report of sorts for school, I believe 8th or 9th grade, on Frankenstein. So I know for sure I read Moby Dick and Frankenstein. I read Black Beauty, I read Tom Sawyer, I believe, or maybe Huck Finn, or maybe both. I had them both. I don't know, I just read quite a few of those over my teenage years. So, yeah, like I said, I'll let you go here. Just Have a good day, good evening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.